few scary things have happened around Two Loose Cannons World. We're back in operation this week after being down for 1 week. Not our fault. Podcaster's fault. Join Riverside. This is Two Loose Cannons. I'm Leon.
Ross, don't join Riverside.
So, there's been a bit happen. We could start with what's going on with your mob.
Yeah.
You've assembled the dream team.
Well, I don't know about the dream team, but yeah, go on.
Your coaching staff. Well, underneath Carr, look, I have long thought that Carr probably is the man. You're thinking that he might be, but you've got some quality people around him now. You've got Dewey underneath. You've got Collins overseeing it, and now today Ben Rutten is announced as the footy boss,
The Crows infiltrator.
So I had to look up what that role actually entails, and he's basically overseeing development, overseeing coaching, and list management. So he's the guy that will oversee and piece it all together. Yeah. And my response to you was, when you asked my thoughts on it, was, what was my initial thoughts on it? And it was, is he's strong enough in the list management category to be able to oversee it? Now, I know he was a senior coach. Yeah, he sat in on list management meetings, but you don't get to see you
don't get to. Yeah. So you're spot on there.
But then I also thought about it afterwards, and I thought, am I being too harsh? Because you don't find ready-made people that have done both.
Obviously you look at the comments, the forums, that sort of thing. Mm-hmm. One of the things I found interesting was there was one comment saying, how did we go from, what's his name from Geelong, who's now at GWS? Bartel, sorry, Jimmy Bartel. How do you go from Jimmy Bartel to Ben Rutten? Look, I don't know, but look, they're just not going to stick someone in the role.
So what I would say is Bartel the right? Was he the right?
Bartel said he wanted to.
Yeah.
If it hadn't been for the kids.
Okay.
So he actually looked at the job. Now, for someone of that experience to look at the job and go, "Wow, I was just absolutely amazed at it, and I wanted it, but because we've got 2 small children, I couldn't accept it."
So he's your number one guy.
He would have been
number one choice,
definitely.
What coaching credentials did he have?
Oh, nothing. But I think admin-wise, he proved himself. So,
because I don't see it as too much of a step down, because I think, Rutten's been a senior coach.
Well, he has, but a failed senior. See, this is the question. So,
but what if you put him in this, he was the last coach that's got them to the finals. So,
well, that's true. But look, we often talk about Rutten and what he did at St Kilda and Carlton, and he was virtually the last one to get him to where they needed to go, and then they replaced him with Malthouse and Ross, the boss.
Yeah.
So people are just, in this profession, you're expendable if someone better comes along.
Yeah.
So look, I'm willing to wait and see. He can't be any worse than Katie.
Yeah,
can he?
No, absolutely not. Absolutely not.
So therefore, is it an upgrade? No, because we don't know what he's capable of. We don't know exactly what you said. He's a life coach, which surprised me when they put him in as obviously head of footy. But you're right, he was a senior coach. He's been an assistant at some successful clubs, namely Richmond, when they went through their strong years. So yeah, happy to give him the benefit of the doubt and just see what he can do.
Yeah.
But is it an appointment I'm jumping up and down about like I was when we got Collins and Drew? No. Far from it. But again, it's a good structure.
Yeah.
And the good thing is with Collins there and Drew there, those three, Rutten, can also work together to sort of, and Collins has got that experience in the admin area. Mm-hmm. So, there's that sort of thing. So
they offset each other.
That's right. Yeah. He can almost grow into the role too, Rutten, because he will have people around him who perform similar duties and know, like Dewey, who's been a senior coach, so they know the club, they know what these sort of roles entail.
Yeah, I'd be very comfortable as a port supporter though, knowing that there's that off-field support now around.
Yeah,
first-year coach,
and that's good. Now they've got to fix up the on-field.
Yeah,
so look, I sent you a cheeky text. Was what happens if the Eagles go after Archie and you miss out on him? Have you made a mistake not giving Brizzy what they want? And you say no because they were asking too much, which is true. They were asking too much for him. So what happens if someone steps in before you and grabs him? Do you care if Archie goes to
it'd be nice to have him. No. because what was my response? That the system shouldn't work like that, where the player can now dictate.
That's right.
That should these are the terms. Sign me.
Yep.
This is my contract, and for Adelaide, this is what my contract will be. Everyone else will be a 1 year deal on $1 million. I don't like that. So I'd like to see someone have the balls to just pull him out of nowhere. So if it happens to be West Coast, then so be it.
We know, and I know this was a long time ago. We know with Nick Stevens. But obviously rolled the dice in. He wanted to go to Collingwood. They couldn't get Collingwood lowballed us so badly. They're trying to get Nick Stevens, thinking he's nominated us. Port will have to deal with us. So we went, no, we're not. He went to the draft. He did exactly what you said that Archie did. He put down his price. He put down his years. Carlton stepped in and took him.
The problem is not. It doesn't happen enough though. That's the thing.
Yeah.
So
I agree.
There's so many players that still slip through, and by the sounds of everything that's been spoken about, industry insiders like Callum Twoney, who can vouch that he's getting to the Crows, and that's not the way it should be.
Look, I still go back to, do teams want to play these games where they poach each other, where they know? So say Port, we know you're looking for Archie. Now, I'm sure if he's available, which he probably will be by the time we get our pick, and we'll have the money, there's no problem there, and we'll be able to give him his years, and we'll be able to give him the money. So the money side and the years side isn't going to be a problem. Do we really want to be stepping in front of you, grabbing a player that we know you want, knowing full well that in a year, 2 years, 5 years, 10 years, you might do the same thing to us?
Oh, yeah.
So there's always that repercussion side of things.
Yeah.
Do you want to take that risk of another team doing it to you in a couple of years?
And that's why his manager after trade week, because I've never seen anything like that, where at the end of trade week, how all the list managers come out, have their chats. Williams did it with old mate Reid from the Crows. And he said he's joining the Crows. This is where he's going to get to.
Right.
And Reid said, we're going to commit to taking the hard road. So it was almost like they did the deal right then and there. And no one else in the AFL industry is going to get a look in. But it's then you've got the media. And I know that over in Western Australia, you had a couple of the programs over there saying, well, no, West Coast should go after it.
Well, and you know what? Any team that feels they could need should go after it.
And I think every club would like him, because he's an adaptable player with 2 premierships underneath his belt. So 28 years old, he fits in pretty nicely to just about nearly everything.
And he'd be perfect in our system, I think. So I'd love to get him, but
grew up as a Crows supporter. That's why he wants to come play for the Crows. So that'd be interesting.
And then, see, that's the other side of it. So if he wants a 3-year deal. Now, we know deals mean nothing these days. Does he do the 12 months at, say, Port or Gold Coast, or someone picks him up, pays his price, gives him the contract, and then finds out in 12 months he turns around and says, I want to be traded to the Crows?
It's a gamble.
So that's the flip side of it.
You've got managers not wanting to pick up phones to other clubs to speak about it. So, it's hard for other clubs to gauge, whether or not he can be turned around. If a manager's keeping his phone off, that makes all list managers a bit wary of, well, there's still some, questions we haven't answered here. So,
and I think Brisbane at the end of the day should have just taken the second round. They just said, here you go. I mean, it would have,
I don't know what sort of a message they were trying to send, because they're premiership, they're 2-time premiership winners. They get everything handed to them in terms of what the Northern clubs get. At some stage, again, the goodwill. You talked about it there, about selecting Archie. Everyone talks at trade week about goodwill. Now, you've got to understand, he's not a first round pick. No, he's not a pick 14 like they were lower than pick 14.
No.
So, at some point, something's better than nothing. Now, they don't need to keep that pick. They can on-trade that. There's...
Oh, spot on. Yeah.
It's not something they need to keep if... because they've got their academy players, which they already had the picks and points for. On traded next year, they're going to have more academy players next year. Year after, they're going to have more academy players. It was just, I thought childish and childish.
I thought it was, definitely. Which again sends the message to Archie that they just don't value him.
No.
Like we talked
about the rest of the players, though. Then they see that as well and go, well, hang on. He's a 2-time premiership player with us.
That's right.
He's done his time. They would understand his situation, that, okay, he can get more coin elsewhere. Nobody would begrudge it.
No, of course not. No, absolutely not.
And as it is, there's loads
It's not,
of talent that someone can just next man in.
Yeah, that's right.
But it just, it doesn't,
There should be no hard feelings towards him. He's not like he's jumping off. He's not like players who are leaving West Coast, they're all being accused of, leaving a sinking ship.
Yeah.
It's nothing like that. No, two-time premiership player who's been there since the start of his career, and he's given his service, and he's now 28, wants the money, wants a contract.
Yeah.
So again, you're spot on. No one's going to begrudge him that. It's like he's not a young man. 28 in this game, he might have 5 years left.
Yeah.
And he's got to make the coin now because Brisbane ain't giving it to him.
No.
It's got to go somewhere else. So.
And he hasn't finished top 10 of their...
no, you're right.
We spoke about this before. So the value from Brisbane, you've got to understand that the players would know that he's a good player, but, if someone else is going to come pay him his due, pay him his worth, then...
It's almost funny, isn't it? They don't value him until he wants to trade, and then all of a sudden, we value him.
Yeah, and that's where and it just astounds me that in no world is he a first-round pick.
Yeah, no. I agree with you. Let's move on to our lovely ladies. Of course, I don't know if you heard, Liam, but over on Friday night, there was a showdown, I believe it was called, between, I think, teams Port Adelaide and Adelaide, I mean.
I don't know. There's an AFL season going on.
Anyway,
sorry.
So, yeah. Now, of course, I went to the game because I've been to every of the AFLW showdowns. I find them intriguing. The funny thing, and I said to this before as we were talking about it, the funny thing was I ran into a few friends of mine who were Crow supporters, and both of them said to me, "Oh, you'll beat us tonight." And I was like, "Oh no," And their reasonings behind why they thought Port would win were exactly what happened on the field. Now, I do have to admit, I haven't watched many of your games this year. I've taken note of results, obviously, but I haven't watched many of your games. But a lot of what they were talking about was based off what they saw with Richmond and some of the other games where
that Richmond is diabolical.
Very, very ineffective, uncrow-like. So I found it. Yeah, I'm actually a bit sad that the Port girls won't be playing finals, unfortunately, because they just were good.
They could have done some damage.
They could have given that effort, and the effort they brought against teams like Hawthorn and Melbourne, who were unbeaten when they played Melbourne, and Hawthorn were a one-loss team when they played Hawthorn, shows that they could actually mix it. Now, let's get this right. No one's getting close to North Melbourne.
No.
We'll talk about them in a minute. But no one's getting close to the North Melbourne girls. But again, could have been another prelim. Might have even been a not premiership, a grand final.
Yeah.
Finally, we would have got a grand final. But it is what it is, I guess. And we spoke about this at the beginning of the year, or the beginning of the season. We both thought that the teams might figure in the finals, and it looks like only you guys may. You've got one game to go. You just got to beat Freo, which is also...
Yeah, that's a danger game.
Yeah, it is a danger game because they're looking to finish in the 8th. They're just outside and you're just on the bubble. So whoever wins that game probably plays finals and the other team's out.
I'd be going Freo if I was betting on it.
Well, you're lucky it's here, I guess.
It just feels like that they've done their dash. This team it's not the team five odd years ago when they won the flag.
I was shocked at the beginning of the season when people were saying that they needed to move on. To be honest with you, I was surprised. This is a guy who's won 2 premierships.
Yeah,
and he seems to have the girls in the finals every year.
It's not so much him. It's just it's you know what it's like. It's the circle of life in AFL.
Yeah, definitely. I understand.
Teams will bottom out. Teams will average out. You haven't had good draft picks for a while, so it is what it is.
Yeah.
Look, as far as the season goes, it's like you said, it's North Melbourne's and their record they'll end up being it'll be interesting to see how it's received when it's because looking at some of the comments that I've seen online, people aren't acknowledging it as the win streak.
I never like it when they put a win streak up against, because I still think they're different competitions.
They are.
Okay, absolute different competitions. Now, the women's game is just as hard, and it's played on I want to say smaller field, but with less players, so it's not as congested. And it's less time, obviously, because they're shorter quarters.
And look, the draws.
So the games,
and I know that North,
exactly.
North end up with a harder draw because it finished in the 8, but it's not everyone plays everyone.
Yeah. But they're so far away.
Yeah, they are.
I mean, the other thing about is it seems to be the same draw every year, though, because every year we play West Coast in West Coast. We have never played West Coast here in Adelaide.
Okay. Yeah.
So I don't understand that. I don't understand why year to year it isn't swapped around.
Yeah, that's.
And we've had Fremantle, and I don't think we've ever played Fremantle in Perth. So Fremantle always seem to come here to play us, and we always seem to go to Perth to play West Coast. We've never played West Coast here in Adelaide. So
that's an interesting observation.
Yeah. So I just don't get how they do a draw. I don't know if they just keep it the same every year. Maybe they don't. Maybe they just flick the weeks around, because obviously we always play the showdown early, round 3, round 4, round 5.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas, this year it was round 11?
Yeah.
So interesting. But going back to North Melbourne, no one's going to touch them. And this is going to go, and we touched on this anyway, that we thought this could be a 3-4 year dynasty where they could dynasty where they could absolutely dominate. And it's not going to be surprised me if their win streak goes well into the 30s, possibly pushing 40.
Yeah.
So,
it's up to the rest of the competition to catch them, and your team is in that position where it can make those leaps to do that.
Well, this is what I found interesting. That was smashing teams early, and I have been keeping an eye on the score, and teams are finding ways to stay in the game with them. Yeah. So they're not smashing teams like they were early on in the season.
And look, some of that hunger does drop off a bit when you're winning games as easily as that, but that could pick up again come finals time.
Of course, and it will pick. I guarantee you they'll ramp it up. No one will get close to finals. They'll win probably an easy 8 to probably 10, 12 goal wins.
Yeah. They turned up last week and slaughtered the Crows.
Yeah,
yeah. Again, I didn't watch it, but I saw the score.
Yeah.
Well, there's a women's sport that I do watch.
There it is.
And that's
women's
cricket.
Wrestling, right?
Oh, yeah, women's wrestling. I thought we're not supposed to broach wrestling on this show. Women's cricket.
Hi, Jim.
Yeah. The World Cup. Hey, have we heard from our mate Richard these days?
Now, Richard's been pretty quiet.
Yeah.
He was very disappointed. He had a lot of questions last week, and then he was very quiet this week. So, yeah, nothing from Richard this week. I'll have to get onto him and ask him what's going on.
Make sure you do, because he's a number one fan.
He is. Yeah.
Good on you, Richard.
So, I'm a king.
Yeah, 7 for 18. Now, I was going to say, no, I'll leave that joke off. I was going to link it in with what happened before the match in indoor.
That was
to what King did to South Africa. You can piece it together.
Yeah.
But that had been building, that King performance, because what was in her last game? 2 for
something.
Yeah. 19 or something ridiculous, where she didn't get the big rewards, but she certainly got him against South Africa, and South Africa were flying. Supposedly they were going to give us our greatest challenge, and it didn't happen.
They barely got up for it, didn't they?
Yeah.
So, that was well played. Obviously, they found a way to win every game. The girls so far, they've had to chase down some big scores, as we talked about a couple of weeks ago, against India and England, was it?
Yeah.
So now they have to face India again to see who makes the final. So I believe So Australia plays India and South Africa and England. Yeah. So that'll be very interesting to see who they.
And if they get through India, the one good thing about the two in the reverse side, South Africa and England, they both have deplorable records against Alana King.
Yeah.
They don't play spin well.
No, they don't play spin well, especially not in India.
No. So you get through India, and I'll tell you what, I'd say they're a Monty for the.
Well, they should be. Yeah. And this is why we touched on that this should probably be our greatest.
Yeah, greatest
supported women's team, because they just come through for us every time.
And I'd even go as far as saying across both men and women, national team, our greatest supported national team, it should be, because they produce. Yeah. And there's no egos, they're all likable people.
That's what they are.
You know, there's none of this accusing coaches of inappropriate touching.
Now I know you're a big fan of Sophie Devine, so I know you want to. She's said she's going to retire.
No, mate. After
a nice send off.
no,
What about a send off for us?
she just deserted the strikers, mate. She went off. She said, "Bugger you, I'm going across to Perth, mate."
And then we went back to back. So.
Yeah, true. So maybe it was a blessing in disguise.
So
thank you, Sophie, for
abandoning us and making us double champions.
Yeah. I did see a little bit of a clip of her. Did she bowl the final over of the match or something?
That's a farewell thing. Yeah.
And the way she was talking about it was like the greatest over.
Yeah. 19 years in the game, though. I guess it's it's a fair.
Yeah. But that's the thing with women's sports. They start them at such a young age. They can debut at 14, 15 and still go to the...
Yeah, that's true.
As long as they want, really.
Yeah, you look at someone like Elise Perry, who was a...
Yeah. She's gone around forever.
Yeah. That feels like it, doesn't it?
Yeah.
She started when she was, 14, 15, didn't she?
Yeah.
So, yeah, you're right.
I mean, it's controversial, but it's just... it's still deserving of a spot in the Australian team.
Well, she's been playing... Well, I've been keeping an eye with scores, and look, and Father Time's undefeated, as they say. So it has been a long career for her.
Because I mean, her batting has been solid.
So bowling
is a little bit of a...
Well, look, she carried that team for her best years, I reckon, when she was early 20s to her mid 20s. So she was the star of that side in a lot of ways. So I mean, look,
we're in a time now though. You look at a lot of that team. Tali McGrath can bat at 8 and not bowl at all. She's an all-rounder for the strikers, all-rounder for South Australia. Can't get a look in, really.
Yeah.
So, plus, she's not the only one out there. There seems to be a lot of all-rounders in women's cricket.
That's right, there is. The thing is, and you can say the same thing about Alyssa Healy too. She had it down. She didn't. There was
a period, where
she had 18 months, 2 years, where you look at her scores, they weren't good at all. But
no,
if the team keeps winning, you can afford to carry those players. And I think that's where Elise Perry comes in. You can still afford to have her there because the team's winning.
Yeah.
And as you say, there's talent coming through. It's not like we're bereft of talent.
Okay, so I'm going to skip a little bit ahead because this is kind of topical. So, the Australia roll with Labuschagne. Now, on international form, Australia would be carrying him. But since he's come back to this domestic summer, he's shown out hundreds in the one-day comp and the first-class comp.
Right. So he's found it.
Yeah.
It's back. Mojo's back.
Yeah.
Got it. You can't justify dropping him now when his form's good, but when you carried him when his form was poor.
Okay.
So I totally agree with your statement. There's no way he finds his way out of that.
But
and he's batting at 3.
Like I said, this would be an Australian select thing to do. Now that he's found form, let's drop him.
They're not going to do it. And in fact, I think even if he didn't find form, they were still going to keep that side.
Yeah.
So
because it's what he brings in the field too. He's energetic. A bit of a mouth too. That also helps get under a few people's skin.
And I think Green at the moment's still got a couple of injury clouds on. Excuse me, over him. So.
Oh, did you see today? Old mate Bo Webster's back on.
Yeah,
that's the help.
Yeah. Look, they're gonna with no Cummings, they're gonna need everybody firing. We'll find out. I mean, the real problem now, I think, is who's opening.
Well, did you see what Quasha says? Queensland 1, 2, 3.
Yeah.
So Renshaw, he's
and
probably for Renshaw.
He's saying Renshaw should get an opportunity. I saw someone say that they believe that it should be Weatherall. Weatherall should be opening with Khawaja. Costa's name is still always going to be bantered around. Yeah, it'll be interesting to watch. When that first team comes up, when the team drops, it's definitely going to be interesting to see who and it's going to be more the 2 openers, I think, because I'm not sure Kawhi just set the world on fire either at the moment. So
no, he's very, very lucky that there's no one really on the other side, other and
that's right. There's no one pushing him. Yeah.
So but yeah, look, if fair's fair, and you look at what's happened the last couple of years, Weatherall should be in that side.
Should, but whether
the
or not
weight of runs he's churning out.
He should, but I totally agree with you. But I guarantee you he won't be.
No,
they'll go with Costas or they'll go with Renshaw.
Yep,
absolutely. Because
I don't mind the Renshaw call simply because he acquitted himself well in the one days. I mean, he come in difficult times and he played the spin well. So, if you look, not that England have a lot of great spin bowling, but it's handy to have an opener that can, when the spin comes on, play the spin well.
Yeah. All right.
So what did you make of the one-day series?
Well,
before we move on,
we talked about this being Kohli and Sharma's last hurrah. So, and it was looking really bad for Kohli until the third one-dayer, where, I mean, he went duck, and then he scored a, 70, was it?
Yeah, duck, goose.
Yeah. So, and then Sharma basically had an 8 in the first, and then he scored two really good innings in the second and third match. So, yeah,
there's a little bit, scoring runs when there's no pressure.
There's no pressure. Exactly.
And that was
my next point was going to be, it was over by then. They lost 2-0, and basically
because Australia won the toss, and elected to bat. Now they did that to put themselves under pressure. But if the game was on the line, they're bowling first.
I thought that was strange, but then I thought, well, they've got nothing to lose now. They might as well just go out there and
test ourselves and see what we can do. Posting a score, because it's been a while since I've done that.
Yeah,
but that was something like India's 17th or 18th toss lost in a row.
Yeah,
and I saw some ridiculous stat. That's like 0.002% chance of that actually happening.
Yeah,
ridiculous.
Yeah, that was crazy.
So India's the best T20 side in the game. You've got Australia with the way that they're playing, and I told you about the stat before we come on there.
Yeah.
Australia's going above 160 strike rate in the first 6 overs, and the rest of the world's going at an average of 133 or something like that. Is this the test to see if they're the real deal, Australia?
Look, that lineup, we spoke about this earlier on in the year. That lineup is capable of doing anything. Could put up 400. Or could get out for 80 odd. So, for me, 3 games, go for it. That's what the game is. Isn't that what 2020 is all about? Just go for it. It's not
3 or 5.
I thought it was 3. I thought it was 3. Okay, maybe it's 5.
Because they're going Canberra, Hobart, Gold Coast, and Brisbane.
Okay, so it must be 5.
And who gets the other one?
Maybe.
Oh, just bad news. Weather will third bowl dark.
Third bowl dark? Typical.
Yeah, but I'm pretty sure it's 5 games.
Yeah, that's all right. Look, just, I'd be saying to them, just go out there, let's just see what we got. Put them under pressure, especially if you're batting first. Post a huge score.
Yeah, 1 of 5.
That's it.
It's a 5. So this you're not going to get a better series to prepare for the World Cup.
No.
It's 5 against the world's #1 team. Can this be effective against? Because what India can do really well is hold teams.
Yeah.
So that strike rate might come down a bit this series, but they shouldn't. It'll be interesting to see what happens. Do they lose their head and keep pushing against India holding, or can we rattle them enough to get India off their lines and links?
Well, that's it.
So that's what the battle will be, I reckon.
Yeah. So what did you think of Pakistan, the Pakistan Cricket Board coming out and saying that they weren't going to let their 7 players play in the Big Bash? And then when Cricket Australia rang them and inquired as to why they weren't letting these players play, they did a backflip and said, okay, we'll let them play.
That's typical Pakistan, isn't it?
Yeah.
Oh, God. Like,
one of the honest stories I'd heard was that.
Those players, would they be able to pay them the money that they would miss out on?
No, that's the point, I think.
Yeah. So I reckon Cricket Australia probably said, pull your heads in, mate. You're going to lose these players. They'll end up retiring, and then you coming to play here anyway, going across England and doing their team.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
Just stupid.
But
typical Pakistan behaviour, right?
Yeah. Yeah, that's what I thought. When I heard this story, I thought it was like, if you just gave me this scenario and said, which cricket board is this?
Pakistan.
No, without a second thought, I just
yeah,
Pakistan. Yeah, so I found it very weird. But anyway, they tried to make a stand, didn't they?
Yeah, well, yeah,
can't blame them.
Unsuccessful.
Yeah.
But I would have thought, though, having their players mix and play in Australia would benefit them.
Yeah, you think so?
I don't know.
No, I think
I mean, when you think about it, that's how they freaking found Harris Ralph.
Yeah.
Harris Ralph was just a domestic player, come over to Australia, and all of a sudden, you know, has a couple of good years. He's in the bloody
squad.
squad.
Yeah. Yeah. Very weird, but that's Pakistan for you.
Yeah.
So,
So what's more of a corrupt competition? The AFL or the NBL?
look, we've spoken about this before.
Yes.
Don't believe as an owner of the league you should have ownership of a team. Now it doesn't. Now I'm not saying anything went on, but when commentators are sitting there and are asking questions as to why fouls are being called and why fouls aren't being called, and the team that the fouls are being called for is owned by the guy who owns the league, that the optics are not good at all.
Yeah.
They're not good at all, and no one can argue that point. Because some of those fouls weren't even close to be.
So you've
we're
got
not close to be.
Edwards on the
Humphrey's got
yeah.
mugged.
Yeah.
His wallet is still with one of the Melbourne United players.
Yeah.
And no call in a 1-point game where the emphasis before the game was, can Melbourne win 9 in a row? That was the only emphasis before the game. That was it. And it just, the optics looked terrible. Absolutely terrible.
Yeah.
So you as the owner of a league, you should never be able to own a team.
So Edwards, who was on the receiving of calls on the Melbourne offensive end, he was the one that committed the fouls on Humphreys. Should have been fouled out 5 or 6 times in that last quarter.
Yep. Yeah.
He ended up being man of the match, something 12 of 12 field goals.
Yeah.
Brilliant performance on the offensive end.
I agree with you.
But when you've got it being refereed different on one end of the court to the other, how can you say that that's fair? And you hit the nail on the head, because it was one of the first things that I thought. The talk leading in was, Melbourne the real deal, 9-0. Today, on the NBL page, they've put up a graphic of all teams that have gone unbeaten. It's like they want to just continue this narrative as long as possible.
Yeah.
And look, they may not have been told to get Melbourne over the line. They might have said, if things are a little bit close, just a little bit of a nudge.
With it, at the end of the day, it's about the optics for me. And you cannot run a competition where the commentators are asking questions. You can't. It's not about the supporters. It's not about us 36er supporters who are sitting there going, what was that? When the commentators are asking the questions is where it becomes a problem. Because this is a nationally televised game.
Yeah.
This was on channel, whatever it was, 10, I think it was 10.
It was nationally broadcast.
Nationally broadcast game. This wasn't something that was on pay-per-view or whatever, on one of the, like, whether it was Foxtel or one of the other channels.
The build-up to it was is this a grand final preview? So probably, I don't know what the viewing audience turned out to be, but it would have been one of their highest years so far.
Yep. Now, if that had happened here in Adelaide, you would have heard the boos all the way across the border, I guarantee you.
Yeah,
absolutely. But because it happens in Melbourne, there's the happy clappers sitting there just, good call.
Yeah, exactly.
Nothing being said.
As if you speak up against it, you're just been a salty.
Right. You're a salty supporter, but the facts are there. You can watch the game and you can see how it's going. Now, with what's going on with the NBA, that's the other side of the optics. Because you don't want to be looking at that and see what's happening in the NBA and all these refs and players who are now being charged by the FBI for the game, for the rigging the games, and then have a game like that where it just looks so lopsided. So, look, be very careful how you tread. There's a fine line if you want to win a game and how you do it. Trust me, you do not want that sort of thing coming down.
We haven't even spoken about what happened to DJ Vasiljevic and that no one could work out, was it a backcourt, was it not? And it got called in Melbourne's favour. Yeah. And I can't understand the review system. That should be a reviewable play, but it's not. It's not. Oh, look.
No, I'm with the thing with the review system is you don't want everything being reviewable because it just holds up the game.
Yeah, I understand that, but when the game's on the line,
you're right. When the game's on the line,
critical call.
Yeah, when the game's on the line, you need to be able to go, hang on.
And they didn't challenge anything that entire quarter. They wanted to use their coach's review.
Yeah,
no, tough.
Yeah,
stuff like we don't review backcourt calls.
Yeah, and
Why bother having a review system?
well, see, that's the problem with most review systems is you can review some things and you can't review others.
God,
it just becomes
it's
ridiculous.
Yeah.
It makes it easy to manipulate too.
And when the coaches don't know what they can and can't review, I mean, that tells you everything you need to know.
Yeah, and you're spot on because there was like for a long time in the NFL you couldn't review the pass interference until they changed the rule probably 2 or 3 years ago. So if a ref made a call on pass interference and it looked really bad on replay, there was nothing you could do about it. It's a way to manipulate the game, and we know that. And this is what happens with these reviews and not reviews, because umpires know what you can and can't review, so they can start calling the unreviewable ones the way they want it. If that's what they're attempting to do, I'm not suggesting this is what I'm just making a point.
Yeah.
This is how it can be.
You're talking the optics.
That's right.
Yeah.
So from that point of view, you just either go with the lot or piss it off altogether and just let human error be human error.
Or, and have the chairman of the NBL step out.
Yeah.
Of clubland.
Look, he saved the league. Let's face it.
He did.
Without him, the league's dead. So I did no problem.
But that tells you a lot about the last administration.
Yeah.
How bad could you be? I mean, because basketball should be a more popular sport. Should be given. Look at your generation, my generation. We grew up with NBA. The golden years of Michael Jordan and the Chicago Bulls of the 90s.
Yeah.
A little bit before that, Magic Johnson and
the Celtics.
Bird and the Celtics. There's always been ingrained in Australian society.
Yeah.
I collected basketball cards as a 11, 10-year-old kid. I played basketball. I got mum and dad to buy me basketball singlets for Christmas with a basketball hat. It's there.
Yeah.
What were they doing? So there's no excuse for basketball to be failing in this country.
No.
And now you've got, it can't fail anymore because of what's happened that brought it up. And, you look at the Aussies going over in the NBA and Giddy 3-0 with the Chicago Bulls doing a great job.
Yep.
Up against his mate Dyson Daniels. Like, there's no reason for that. It should only get bigger.
That's right. It should. It should only get a lot bigger.
Yeah.
And now there's a lot of talk about how they reckon the Australian League is the second best league after the NBA. So, it's not, you're right, it's not going to fail because all of the clubs are now have associations with NBA clubs.
Yeah.
And they help each other out. They send players to each other.
Well, New Orleans coming down to play an exhibition match.
So, full absolute praise to the man for saving the league, but you can't own a team in the league you own.
That was like Frank Lowy and Sydney FC.
That's right.
Frank,
and we know how
that.
We know how to do that.
Yeah.
So, but anyway, let's move on.
Yeah, we've just sort of touched on a bit of A-League, so may as well go there, eh? Adelaide United. So they've started really good last week against Sydney. I thought they were brilliant.
Really good against Sydney, yeah.
It wasn't just the fact that they won, it was how they went about winning. I thought, oh, wow. Loved the way that they built up. Loved the way that they used the wings really, really well to get the ball in the 6-yard box. So I was wouldn't say I set my hopes up too high, but I thought, okay.
It looked good.
It looks okay. We might be better than a bottom 3 team, which I probably had them sit. After that performance, I had them, okay, maybe they might be able to squeeze into finals. So they go up and play MacArthur on Monday night. MacArthur, who'd been over to Vietnam. Gastro goes through the thing.
Had Vietnam belly.
Yeah. 5 or 6 players out, others under a cloud.
Yeah.
Come out like a house on freaking fire, but forget to score. MacArthur scores. Adelaide score halftime. And then I don't know what happened after halftime, but they just fell away. And, MacArthur got hold of the match and scored again. And look, Adelaide did come in the last 20 minutes, but just the cutting edge isn't there. And you can look great. You can put balls in the 6-yard box, but if you can't get past the goalkeeper, all of it's for nothing.
Yeah. So are we going to be looking at a season where we're competitive at home and no good away?
Well,
is that what we could be looking
too early for that? Because I thought that they did bring that effort for 50 minutes of the 90-minute game. And the conditions weren't great for football. It was soccer, very, very windy. And they had a good target man to aim to. So you put those balls in high, got a bloke that's just bringing the balls down, feeding him. He ended up getting man of the match as a striker, but not scoring a goal. So that tells you all you need to know. Then again, I'm not going to pull my prediction back any further. They should be around the mark competing for finals. I don't see them pushing into upper echelons.
No, they're not going to be a top 2 team.
But it could be fun watching if they could put the ball in the back of the net. That's where it sits for me.
Yeah.
Their goalkeeper was phenomenal. I should pay tribute to Curdo. He kept everything out.
Yeah,
did you see his highlight reel?
Yeah.
Oh God. Saves, double saves, full length saves. Like he's had the full and he didn't get man of the match. Staggering. Yeah. But yeah, look, it's not doom and gloom, but
well, exactly. It's not doom and gloom. It could be, I don't know. Look, I think I always thought we'd be okay early, and then it's just going to be the dog days of summer, and when it gets really hot, and
yeah, that's going to be interesting.
The second half of the year, I thought we'd drop away.
Their wingers do a lot of work, so when it gets hot, that productivity is not going to be there.
No, it's not. So, I'm not as optimistic as you. I still think we're pretty much going to be a bottom 2, 3, 4 team. Bottom, 3 or 4 side. But, for a bit of luck, that's all you need. And, you see teams having 50 shots on goal.
Yeah.
And not scoring. And you see some teams having 2 or 3 shots on goal and having 2 up, having 2 goals.
Apparently that Spanish guy, and I'm trying to look up his name because he's apparently impressing everyone, but he's not match fit. So he's coming on for 20 minutes. They reckon what they're seeing from him on the training track is elite, like really, really elite. His shooting, his passing, his build-up work, phenomenal. Yeah. Just trying to remember what his name is.
Probably Sanchez.
No, it wasn't, surprisingly. That's probably why I can't remember it. Sawyer was so that bloke was the guy that performed up front for MacArthur.
Yeah.
He's got a future. Big boy, and he kept things pretty much they don't have his name here. What the hell? Oh, Moniz. Juan Moniz.
Good old
yeah. I was a little bit funny about him because 37 years old, coming from Malaysia or Indonesia. I thought, he couldn't be that good, but from all reports, very impressive. But not seeing him for any length of time to be able to see that.
Well, we're almost at the end of November. We've obviously that's Friday, isn't it? Friday or no, Saturday?
Saturday, yeah.
So that's Saturday.
You got November.
Our Mo of the week, Mo Bro of the week. I'm going to go with John Newcomb. For those who don't know John, he was a tennis player in the 70s and 80s and early 90s. More in doubles in the early 90s, but he had a very thick, lush Mo. I'm sure Liam will put something up so you can have a look if he gets a chance. Would come all the way down. It was almost the beginning of what Merv Hughes would copy. Good old John Newcomb. So he's my Mo Bro of the week. So remember, grow a Mo, save a bro. And I think Liam and I both be growing our Mo's this.
Yeah, I've already started because I need to.
You need a head start.
Yeah, a bit of a head start. So because I'm going to go the handlebar.
Yeah.
I've had, and I'll put it up on my Facebook. So for those of you who don't see my Facebook, I've had it growing up when Mitchell Johnson was around. The Mitchell Johnson comparison. So that's why I've gone with the handlebar to sort of mimic it.
Yeah. So we'll probably put something up on the Two Loose Cannons Facebook page if anybody. You don't have to, of course, no obligation. But if you feel like you want to chuck in a couple of bucks when November starts, check out our Facebook page.
Yep.
Well, let's get out of here, man.
Let's wrap it up. What's your joke?
So, what's a ghost's favorite exercise? Deadlifts. Good night.